Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk, and I'm here with another Junk Journal episode where I'm going to finish. This is the last full page that needs finishing. So I am making a tag for it, and I'm going to use some map paper because there's a map page on this spread. So I think I'm doing this 6 inches by 3 inches, and I've got one of my chompers there just to chomp some diagonal corners there to make a tag top, and then I'm just gonna do the highly imprecise ruler ripping method to cut down this bit of matte paper for it. There is an actual sort of proper rip thing on this, so I want to make sure that I incorporate that. And then I'm just going to rip down some music paper there. This is not vintage music paper, it's just paper with music printed on it. And then I'm going to add some words. So these are some words that I've typed onto coffee dyed paper. I did the printing on the coffee dyed paper. I'm going to take a paper doily and then kind of check in what colour was sort of used in the distressing on the page to see which ink to use. So I've gone for vintage photo there, and I'm just inking around all of the edges of each element that I'm going to put on top of the tag, and that's a Stampin' Up doily there, so I'm going to use it as a stencil around the tag. So this is coffee dyed cardstock, and so I'm just adding a little bit of extra. So this is the side I'm going to journal on, and the other side I just went round the edges because that's all you're really going to see of it. So now I'm going to get my blending brush and just discolour a bit more of that OS map that I've got to make it look a bit aged, and just add a little bit extra there to the already coffee dyed paper. And then of course it wouldn't be me if I don't go around and stamp some script on everything, because that's what I like. So then just having a little look and deciding whether or not I like that, adding a little bit more gunge, and then that's it. So now I've just got to sort of glue it all together with my usual favourite glue there for journaling, which is my Calol glue, and because I like it. It's a good, decent glue. It is well, and it adds a little extra layer of sort of stiffness to it. So I do like my tags to be quite robust. Don't like a flimsy tag. So those, I think those doilies, they were very vanilla on one side and white on the other. So I'm using the very vanilla side that I've just distressed a little bit. And there we have it. And I'm actually really pleased with that tag. And then I was thinking I was going to put it on that map page, but actually I'm going to put it on the page that faces it because I think that will look better. So I will paperclip it. So now I need to decorate the back of this envelope. So I'm going to use a bit of map paper with it so that it ties in with the map theme. And I'm going to get another one of those doilies so that's links in. And of course get a word and a butterfly, and put them all together. So checking out, liking that. And of course I've got the doily stain on the coffee dyed page as well, so it really works well. So now I'm just speeding up a little bit there to ink all the edges and glue it all together, and doing an extra bit of stamping, and there it is, ready. A nice big journaling spot there. So that's hooking over there, and then kind of deciding now what to do. So I've got some more of that paper, and I'm going to cut that down and create just a little pocket there on that map page that I put in. So of course that all needs de-stressing as well, and we need to do some inking. Obviously going to put my script in. I'd actually inked it in the put the script in the wrong direction, but I'm not really bothered about that. Adding a little bit over the page because I don't like to see a blank page. I just like to cover it and stuff. And gonna add some butterflies, and I've got the postmarks there. That's a Paris postmark, which I love, and then there's the sort of franking that's got to go over it, and I like the way that sort of turns out. So then I'm going to glue on that. I'm using some art glitter glue here. This is the first venture into using art glitter glue. I hadn't had it long. So then I'm just deciding which envelope I want. So that was sort of made at the same time as the one that's hooked over the map page, so they kind of marry up together, and it's got some of those postmarks, so they all sort of tie in. I like it when that happens. And I feel that the pocket needs a little bit of something, so I'm looking there in my little pot where I've got little elements, and then I'm looking, I've got envelopes, and I'm kind of thinking, what have I got that I could use for this? So I'm looking at some butterflies, still going, not really sure. And then I got some other things out that I'm going to put on it. Really, I'm dithering at this point to think what will go, but I think it's important to sort of kind of get it right. So looking around my desk for some inspiration. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And got some washi tape there, trying that out. Not actually liking that very much either. Got some more washi tape. That's not doing it for me. So then I do eventually remember I've got a punch. So I'm thinking of using that spare bit of paper there, and there's my punch. And this is a punch that punches little milli envelope, and it scores it at the same time as well. So it's really cool. And so the idea is to have that on the pocket. I'm trying to decide where to put it. And then in the end, I remember I've got that little word, and I can have it as though it's a little note poking out from the envelope. So that's what I'm going with. So now I need to distress that. So using some crumb cake there, giving it some colour on the inside, and then of course I've got folded edges that all need some extra colour on them, so that it looks like a nice old well-used envelope. And love this punch. I've had it absolute years, and it is so cute. I quite like punching it with vellum as well. I think that's quite nice. You put little hearts in, and it's just loads and loads of uses for it. Can't remember where I got it at all, because it's a rather a long time I've had it. So now I need to, of course, put some script on it. I do like to stamp with my script, and gonna put the word in there. That fits quite nicely. Needs to sit on something, so because it needs to pop behind the other envelope, because they're made of the same paper, so we need to put a sort of a barrier in there. So I've got a little bit of matte paper there, and that'll probably just be enough to accent it. So we'll give that a little bit of a distress and an ink up, and take back some of the colour. It's a bit bright, because although the maps are old, it's still quite bright. And that's a bit of tracing paper that's coffee dyed, and I think that's it. I'm putting the ink away, so I think I've finished. And then again, I haven't. Famous last words. I obviously decided that wasn't enough that I'd already done, so we'll bring the book back in now and see how that looks on top of the envelope. Well, pocket. That's the envelope. So, yeah. Sort of moving it around, seeing where it looks best, making sure that it stands out. And then, yes, I think that does look better that we put the pointed side of the flap over there. So just give that a little bit of a stick down. And we'll just need to add the bits, the butterfly and that, to the other flap. So I think it's important to spend time thinking about what it looks like. I think sometimes it's a bit of a slapdash, that'll do, and sometimes I really do spend a bit of time thinking about all the elements on the page and making sure it sort of has some sort of flow to it rather than literally throw it down, but giving the impression that it's literally thrown down. It's like putting makeup on to make it look like you're not wearing any makeup. It's the same sort of concept, that it's actually takes a long time to do that. Yeah, so now I've got some of those extra little butterflies that get stamped out when I use the duo punch, and then I'm just going to stick that one on, and I've decided that the distressing and everything on the flap is enough. It doesn't need any more, and it's quite a dark one. That's an early espresso one, so it does stick out quite a lot. So there, that's it finished, and I think that's quite good. Quite like that. Obviously deciding not to put anything on the back of the other envelope. Might add something when I'm sort of filling it. So I'm finding it I'll probably do something with that paper clip to distress it a bit. So now we've just got this one last little pocket to do. This really is almost the last bit. Actually, it's not quite the last bit. So I'm not going to do much on it because I do like the way that the paper napkin worked. So I'm just going to sort of do a bit of stamping on it and then just put something on to cover up the Staples sort of sign there. So I'm gonna use green ink because it's got the green graph paper, and just stamp it around on there. I do like that, and I think that particular stamp goes really well with the foliage and the flowers on the paper napkin that I've used. So I think it works really well. And then of course we need some script, don't we? So I think I've had to just clean it off a bit, still add a bit of, when you use it in your fingers as opposed to on a block, you get ink right up in the crevices, so you need to get that off. And so then just stamping it on a few times. I do like stamping it more than once so that you get different levels of ink in the stamping out, so you get it really dark and then not so dark. And I do like having the ability to not do sort of full stamps with it, so that you just get partial images when you're going down. And I love that these stamps are really sticky on the back, so they just hold onto your hand quite well. And then we just need to do the element to cover up the Staples sign. So I'm going to get myself a butterfly there, stamped in green. And I get a spare one. I buy one and you get one free. And so that was a piece of paper that was backed onto another piece of paper, so I've just got to glue it down. It came apart a little bit, and so I need to glue them back together, and then I can decide where I want it. So I want it on there. Do I just want that, or do I want to add a bit? I think I might need to add a little bit behind. So just getting a few bits there ready. So I've cut a circle, I've punched a circle there, and I'm going to punch a leaf out of the paper so that it's got a different sort of colour. So we've got like 3 things going on there, and the leaf sort of matching in with the foliage and the colour of that butterfly. So that piece of pattern paper worked really quite well, but now it needs distressing up to make it look a bit more vintage and a little bit more in keeping with everything. So just going around there with, I think that was Vintage Photo that I'm using, seeing how they all look layered up. Not got enough on my sponge, so we need to add a little bit more there. And a little bit more for luck around there. And then going to add some crumb cake there to fully vintage-ise it. Vintage-ise it. Just made up a word. And that'll do. Quite like the flurry of which I got rid of my blending brush there, as if to say, yep, I've done. This is the last bit and I've done. Oh, and a bit of tracing paper. Shove that in just to give a little bit of sort of see-through layer there on it. So that needs to just go on that corner bit there. And I say the butterfly linking in with the butterfly of the napkin there. Well, there's 2 butterflies. It's a yellow one and a green one. And I've used the same napkin on the tag, which I've made previously. So all those bits have got glue on them. And one of the troubles with that glue is you get threads of the glue. And so I'm sort of pulling other bits that I didn't want to pull at that time. So, yeah, getting it all layered up, remembering how I had it. Checking if I've got that music up the right way. I may well not. My son will come home and visit and go, Mum, what are you like? It's the wrong way up. But hey ho, it doesn't really matter. So, and then further back there, I've got this envelope. That was just part of the kit. So I'm just going to, although it was coffee dyed and cooked, I'm just going to go around the edges, give it a little bit of extra emphasis where the creases are, and then it will just hook around that envelope. And I'm ready to put some bits in there, some memories, some journaling, whatever I might decide to make a tag for it at a later date. But until I start filling it, I don't quite know what I want. And then of course I've got to put a bit of script on it, just to have that little finishing touch. So that's it. That's it on. So this is the penultimate session, I think. So I just need to I'm gonna decide whether or not I'm going to take out that middle signature because it's quite chunky. So see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.